Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a look at Lincoln 1-cent coins, simple in appearance, but full of history and surprises. From early designs to rare errors, some of these pennies are worth much more than just 1 cent. Whether you're a collector or just curious, you might be holding a hidden gem without even knowing it. Let's dive in and discover what makes Lincoln cents so interesting. First up, the 1964 Lincoln 1-cent coin without a mint mark is a representative example of mid-20th century United States coinage and holds both historical and cultural value. As one of the most commonly encountered pennies from the era, the 1964 issue continues to be of interest to collectors and enthusiasts, particularly those who appreciate coins with a strong connection to everyday American life. The coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark for cents produced at that facility during that period. As such, this coin bears only the year 1960 on its obverse, identifying it as a Philadelphia issue. This Lincoln cent continues the long-standing design tradition that began in 1909 with the introduction of the Lincoln portrait on the obverse side. The image of Abraham Lincoln was originally placed on the 1-cent coin to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a historical figure rather than the traditional representations of liberty. Over time, this portrait became an enduring symbol of both American heritage and the values Lincoln represented, such as unity, equality, and perseverance. The 1964 cent maintains this same obverse design, with the familiar profile of Lincoln facing right, the words "In God We Trust" above his head, liberty to his left, and the date to his right. The absence of a mint mark under the date confirms its origin from the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse side of the coin is the Lincoln Memorial design, which was introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This reverse replaced the earlier wheat ears design that had been in use since 1909. The Lincoln Memorial reverse includes a detailed depiction of the iconic Washington, D.C. monument, which serves as a national tribute to President Lincoln. This design was created by Frank Gasparo, who later became chief engraver of the United States Mint. At the top of the reverse side is the inscription United States of America, with the motto E Pluribus Unum beneath it. The denomination 1 cent is prominently displayed at the bottom of the coin. The memorial design not only symbolizes Lincoln's enduring legacy, but also represents the architectural and cultural grandeur associated with American ideals. The 1964 Lincoln cent is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that had been standard for many decades prior to the shift in metal content that began in the early 1980s. The coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters and weighs about 3.11 grams. Its distinct copper tone gives it an instantly recognizable appearance. Over time, however, coins of this era that have circulated can show signs of wear, including dulling of the luster, surface scratches, dirt accumulation, and color changes due to oxidation. The coin described as circulated falls into this category. Circulated coins have been used in commerce and therefore show varying degrees of handling, which impacts their overall visual appeal and numismatic value, despite being a common date. In the Lincoln cent series, the 1964 coin carries historical weight. It was minted during a period of transition in American history marked by political change, social upheaval, and economic development. The early 1960s were characterized by the civil rights movement, space exploration achievements, and the presidency of John F. Kennedy, whose tragic assassination in 1963 deeply affected the nation. Coins from 1964 and surrounding years often evoke these memories and reflect the everyday artifacts that accompanied Americans through those times. A Lincoln cent from this year can thus be seen not only as currency, but as a small, tangible witness to history. In terms of mintage, the 1964 Lincoln cent was produced in very large numbers. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck over 1 billion pieces that year, making it one of the most widely produced coins in U.S. history at that time. This high mintage means that most examples are not considered rare or highly valuable unless they are in uncirculated or approved condition. However, circulated coins, such as the one being described, still hold interest due to their historical and collectible context. Collectors often include such coins in date sets, type sets, or educational collections. The coin's condition being circulated indicates that it has seen regular use in financial transactions. It may display wear on high points like Lincoln's cheek and jaw, as well as flattened features on the reverse memorial columns. The rim may be slightly worn down, and the fields of the coin may contain marks from contact with other coins or surfaces. Despite these characteristics, the design and date usually remain clearly visible, preserving the coin's identity and function. Coins in this condition are widely available and often serve as starter pieces for new collectors or as part of bulk lot acquisitions by more experienced hobbyists. The Lincoln Cent series itself is one of the most collected coin series in the world, largely because of its long duration, historical significance, and affordability. Coins like the 1960 for issue contribute to the story of American coinage in a meaningful way, offering a glimpse into the everyday money used by generations past. The longevity of the Lincoln design also speaks to the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln as a symbol of American ideals. His presidency, leadership during the Civil War, and contributions to the abolition of slavery have made him a revered figure whose image continues to resonate across decades. Next up we have the 1979 Lincoln 1 cent coin. Represents a continuation of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, one of the most recognized and collected coin series in the history of United States coinage. This particular coin was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the presence of the small d mint mark located just beneath the date on the obverse. The Lincoln Cent has been in continuous production since 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The 1979 issue reflects not only the ongoing legacy of the series, but also the characteristics of the U.S. economy, minting technology, and popular culture of the late 20th century. The obverse of the coin features the well-known bust of President Abraham Lincoln facing right. This design was created by Victor David Brenner and has remained largely unchanged since its original debut. Above Lincoln's head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." To the left side of the profile is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1979, along with the D mint mark signifying its origin in Denver. The design has been praised for its simplicity and dignified portrayal of one of the most respected figures in American history. Lincoln's stern but compassionate expression, combined with the enduring inscriptions, creates a sense of reverence that resonates with generations of Americans. On the reverse of the 1979 Lincoln Cent is the depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was introduced in 1959 to replace the original wheat ears reverse. This updated design by Frank Gasparo remained in use until 2008. It showcases a detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial located in Washington, D.C., a symbol of national unity and respect. Interestingly, a close inspection of the coin reveals a small representation of the seated statue of Lincoln within the monument, a subtle but intricate feature. At the top of the reverse are the words "United States of America," followed below by the national motto "E pluribus unum." At the bottom of the reverse appears the denomination 1 cent. This composition on the reverse reflects American values, artistic expression, and the symbolism embedded in public monuments. The 1979 Lincoln Cent is composed primarily of copper with a small amount of zinc. During this time period, the coin's metal composition remained at 95% copper and 5% zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. It has a plain edge and is struck in a brilliant copper tone when uncirculated, although over time and through circulation, many examples develop darker shades or a duller finish depending on environmental exposure and handling. The 1979 D Lincoln cent in good condition typically retains all major design elements with moderate wear and visible features. The designation of good condition for a coin generally indicates that although it has circulated and experienced wear from use, it remains clearly identifiable with all main details present. In such condition, the portrait of Lincoln will still be visible, though it may be worn down along the highest points such as the cheekbone and jawline. The inscriptions and date should remain legible, and the mint mark will typically be clear. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial and surrounding text will show moderate wear but should not be completely flattened. Good condition coins may display minor surface marks, discoloration, or loss of original luster, but are overall intact and collectible. In 1979, the Denver Mint produced a substantial quantity of Lincoln cents. This year is not associated with major minting errors or unique die varieties in the standard issue, which makes coins from this year relatively common. However, collectors still seek them as part of complete Lincoln cent date and mint mark sets. As one of the later copper-based Lincoln cents prior to the composition change in 1982, coins from this period are increasingly appreciated for their traditional material. The transition to copper-plated zinc coins that began in the early 1980s marked a significant change in the production of cents, and collectors often note the distinction in weight and appearance between the earlier solid copper coins and later issues. The cultural and economic context of the late 1970s also adds interest to the 1979 D Lincoln cent. This period in American history was characterized by shifting political climates, economic challenges including inflation and energy crises, and developments in technology and consumer culture. Coins from this era represent the everyday commerce and public experience of that time. They were used in vending machines, retail transactions, transportation fares, and countless other daily exchanges. For many people, these coins are associated with memories of childhood allowances, coin-operated services, or the pocket change of earlier decades. Although the 1979 D Lincoln cent is not considered rare or of high market value in circulated condition, it remains a vital piece of the overall Lincoln cent narrative. Its affordability makes it accessible to beginner collectors and those seeking to complete long-term sets that span many decades. Furthermore, the longevity of the Lincoln cent design and its familiarity to the public means that even common date coins carry historical and nostalgic significance. For students of American history, coin collectors, and educators, such coins offer opportunities to explore the intersection of numismatics, art, politics, and economic policy. The preservation of a 1979 D Lincoln cent in good condition also emphasizes the value of ordinary coins as historical artifacts. Each coin carries evidence of its journey through time, whether in the form of wear, minor scratches, or toned surfaces. These details provide insight into how the coin was handled and circulated, how it aged, and how it reflects broader trends. In minting and commerce, the visible wear on a coin is often less important to collectors than the overall completeness of its details and the context it represents within a collection. Next up we have the 1975 D Lincoln 1-cent coin represents an important part of the ongoing legacy of the Lincoln cent series, a numismatic tradition that began in 1909. This series is one of the most collected and widely circulated in the history of United States coinage. The coin in question was struck at the Denver Mint in the year 1975, a time when the Lincoln Memorial reverse design was still in regular use and had become familiar to millions of Americans. As with most modern Lincoln cents, the obverse features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, while the reverse continues to showcase the image of the Lincoln Memorial. This specific coin is noted as having a black shade on the backside, a condition that may reflect environmental exposure, oxidation, or prolonged circulation. On the obverse of the 1975 D Lincoln cent, Victor David Brenner's enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln appears, This design has remained on the 1-cent coin for well over a century and serves as a tribute to Lincoln's contributions to the nation, particularly his leadership during the Civil War and his dedication to unity and equality. Above the portrait is the national motto "In God We Trust," while the word "Liberty" is placed to the left of Lincoln's profile. To the right is the date 1975, followed by the small d mint mark indicating that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, despite the age and condition of the coin. The key design elements on the obverse typically remain identifiable and play a critical role in its recognition and authenticity. Turning to the reverse of the coin, the design features a detailed representation of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This reverse was designed by Frank Gasparro and was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The image includes the memorial's columns and architectural details, and even a tiny representation of Lincoln's statue can be seen with careful examination. This reverse design is surrounded by the inscriptions "United States of America" at the top and the motto "E pluribus unum" just beneath. At the bottom is the denomination 1 cent. On this particular coin, the black shade noted on the backside suggests that the coin has undergone some form of environmental change. This darkening could be the result of oxidation, which occurs when the copper surface reacts with oxygen and moisture in the air. It could also indicate exposure to soil, chemicals, or other contaminants over time. The 1975 D Lincoln cent is composed of a primarily copper alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This metal composition was standard for Lincoln cents until 1982, when the U.S. Mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc format to reduce costs. Weighing approximately 3.11 grams and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter, this coin represents the tail end of the traditional copper cent era. Coins from this period, though common in quantity, carry significance due to their consistent design and composition, and they form an essential part of any complete Lincoln cent collection. Coins in circulated condition like this one often display signs of wear and discoloration from regular handling and environmental exposure. The black shade on the backside of this coin likely developed over years of circulation, storage, or exposure to moisture and other substances. While such toning does not generally enhance the market value of a coin unless it is aesthetically unique or naturally patterned, it adds a level of character and individuality. For collectors and enthusiasts, the patina or darkened surface on a coin can be a testament to its history and journey through many hands and places. The Denver Mint, where this coin was struck, has a long-standing reputation for producing high volumes of circulating coinage. In 1975 alone, hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents were minted at the Denver facility. Coins from this year and mint are not considered rare, but their condition and context make them worthwhile additions to date and mint mark sets. The 1970s as a decade were marked by cultural shifts, economic challenges including inflation and global uncertainty, all of which provide a rich historical backdrop for coins of this era. Even though a 1975 D Lincoln cent in circulated condition holds limited financial value, its historical and educational importance is undeniable. Next up we have the 1974 D Lincoln 1 cent coin is a representative example of the enduring legacy of the Lincoln cent series, a coin that has remained in continuous production since its debut in 1909. The Lincoln cent holds a special place in American numismatics. Due to its historical significance, iconic design, and widespread circulation across the country for over a century, this particular coin was struck at the Denver Mint in 1974 and features a red shade that may reflect either original mint luster or some level of preserved coloration due to its storage conditions. Regardless of whether the red tone is from well-preserved copper or toning over time, the 1974 D Lincoln cent remains a valuable piece of everyday American history and culture. The obverse of the 1974 D Lincoln cent continues to display the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln, a design originally created by Victor David Brenner. This portrait, which shows Lincoln in profile facing to the right, was the first time a real historical figure had been featured on a circulating United States coin. Above the portrait is the national motto, "In God We Trust." To the left of Lincoln's image is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1974, followed by the small d mint mark indicating its origin at the Denver Mint. Despite the passage of time, this design has remained a symbol of stability and national reverence for one of the most significant presidents in American history. On the reverse side of the coin is the Lincoln Memorial, a design that replaced the earlier wheat ears motif in 1959 on the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design was created by Frank Gasparro and features the memorial building with fine architectural detail, including visible columns and a miniature depiction of Lincoln's statue seated inside the structure. This small but intricate element highlights the precision and symbolism involved in U.S. coin design. The top of the reverse bears the inscription United States of America, while the phrase E pluribus unum appears just beneath. At the bottom of the design is the denomination 1 cent. This side of the coin reflects the values of unity, national pride, and respect for American leadership. The 1974 D Lincoln cent is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This composition was standard for cents struck before 1980. When the United States Mint began the transition to copper-plated zinc coins as a cost-saving measure. The weight of this copper-based cent is approximately 3.11 grams and its diameter measures 19 millimeters. The coin has a plain edge and, when well preserved, maintains a bright reddish tone from the natural hue of copper. The red shade seen on this coin may be attributed to less circulation or ideal storage conditions that helped retain the coin's original mint brilliance. Collectors generally consider red-toned Lincoln cents to be more desirable, particularly when the surface shows minimal spotting or discoloration. The Denver Mint is one of the primary facilities responsible for producing circulating coinage in the United States. In 1974, millions of Lincoln cents were struck in Denver, making coins from this year widely available and commonly found in collections and coin jars across the nation. Though this issue is not rare, its importance lies in its role within a long-standing series and the context of the historical period in which it was minted. The mid-1970s were a time of political change, economic uncertainty, and shifting public sentiment. Coins minted during this period offer a small but tangible connection to that broader social landscape and the everyday transactions of people living during that time. The condition of the coin, noted as having a red shade, implies it has been relatively well preserved compared to other circulated examples. In coin collecting, the color and surface tone of copper coins is an important factor in determining appeal and grading. Red coins typically retain a significant portion of their original mint luster and have seen little to moderate circulation. This coloration can fade over time as copper oxidizes, so the presence of a red hue can suggest careful storage or favorable environmental conditions. In some cases, coins develop an attractive reddish-brown or even full brown tone based on how and where they are stored. Regardless of the exact hue, a well-maintained coin always has value to both casual collectors and experienced numismatists. From a numismatic standpoint, the 1974 D Lincoln cent has several qualities that make it attractive for collectors. It represents a key part of the copper era of the Lincoln cent series and is often included in date and mint mark sets. For new collectors, coins like the 1974 D issue are easy to obtain and offer a low-cost entry point into the hobby. They allow enthusiasts to become familiar with the features of the coin, its historical background, and the methods used to assess condition and value. For more advanced collectors, variations in strike quality, surface tone, and even minor die errors can make such coins points of interest. The cultural and historical context of the 1970s adds another layer of meaning to coins from this period. In 1974, the United States faced major political developments, including the resignation of President Richard Nixon following the Watergate scandal. The country was also experiencing economic challenges such as inflation and energy crises, These broader themes shaped the national mood and left their mark on everything from popular culture to public policy. Coins minted during this time circulated through a society grappling with change and uncertainty, and each cent passed from hand to hand as part of the larger economic system. Even a coin as small and humble as a 1-cent piece can serve as a symbol of resilience and continuity. Next up we have the 1969 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin is a noteworthy example from the extensive Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 and remains a foundational element in the history of American coinage. This specific coin was produced at the Denver Mint in 1969 and features the enduring portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. As a piece that has seen circulation, the coin shows typical signs of wear expected from decades of handling and exchange. Despite its circulated condition, this coin carries both historical significance and numismatic interest due to its placement in a long lineage of American currency and its connection to a transformative era in United States history. The obverse side of the 1969 D. Lincoln cent bears the profile of President Abraham Lincoln, facing right. This portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner and has been a constant feature of the obverse of the cent since 1909. Above Lincoln's head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." To the left side is the word liberty, and to the right is the year of issue, 1969. Just below the year, a small letter D indicates that the coin was minted in Denver. This design has remained largely unchanged for more than a century and continues to be a symbol of national pride and continuity in the face of change. The reverse of the coin displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This design was created by Frank Gasparo and replaced the original wheat ears motif that had appeared on the reverse of the Lincoln cent from 1909 to 1958. The Lincoln Memorial design includes detailed engravings of the famous monument in Washington, D.C. If observed closely, one can even see the tiny seated figure of Lincoln inside the structure. Above the memorial is the inscription United States of America, and just beneath that is the Latin motto E pluribus unum. At the bottom of the reverse is the denomination 1 cent. The entire reverse is framed in a simple, balanced layout that continues the respectful tone established by the obverse. The 1969 D. Lincoln cent was struck in a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was the standard composition for cents until 1982, when the Mint transitioned to using copper-plated zinc for cost efficiency. Weighing approximately 3.11 grams and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter, the coin is compact yet rich in meaning. The plain edge is a characteristic of all Lincoln cents, and its simplicity allows attention to remain on the iconic imagery. As a circulated coin, this piece likely exhibits signs of age such as smallness, a smoother surface, and muted color tones. Nonetheless, it remains an authentic representative of its time and a legitimate artifact of everyday life in America during the late 1960s. The year 1969 was marked by significant historical events both in the United States and around the world. It was a time of great social and political change, with the Vietnam War continuing to shape public opinion and activism. The civil rights movement had already led to major legislative reforms earlier in the decade, but the push for equality and justice continued in communities across the country. Additionally, 1969 was the year of the Apollo 11 moon landing, a defining moment in American history and human achievement. These events form the backdrop against which this humble 1-cent coin was created and circulated, each coin minted during this period played a small role in the vast and dynamic economic system that supported a nation in transition. Coins like the 1969 D. Lincoln cent also provide an opportunity to explore the history of the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities of the United States Mint. Located in Colorado, the Denver Mint began coin production in 1906 and has since been responsible for minting billions of coins each year. The D-Mint mark on this coin signifies that it originated from this facility, adding a geographic layer to its identity. The Denver Mint is known for its high-volume output, and its coins can be found in circulation throughout the country. The inclusion of the mint mark allows collectors and historians to track the origin and distribution of various coin issues over time. From a numismatic perspective, the 1969 Lincoln cent is a common issue, with hundreds of millions of examples. Struck that year, its abundance makes it a frequent find in coin rolls, pocket change, and inherited coin jars. However, collectors may still seek out high-grade specimens that retain much of their original luster or display unique features such as die cracks, doubling, or planchet irregularities. Although the 1969 cent is not especially rare, it does offer educational value for those learning about coin grading, minting techniques, and historical context. It also holds nostalgic value for individuals who grew up during the late 1960s and remember using coins just like this one in their daily lives. In circulated condition, this coin has likely passed through the hands of many people over the past 5 decades. It may have been used in grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines, and countless small transactions. Each scratch or worn edge is a reminder of its journey and the stories it could tell if it could speak. While a heavily circulated coin may not have high monetary value to collectors, its historical and cultural significance cannot be overstated. Coins are more than just metal. They are artifacts of everyday living and snapshots of the era in which they were made. The copper composition of the 1969 cent gives it a distinctive color that ranges from bright red to deep brown depending on its condition and exposure. Over time, copper reacts with oxygen in the air, resulting in toning and the development of a patina. This can create variations in appearance among coins from the same year and mint. Some collectors prefer coins with original red luster, while others appreciate the character and depth provided by aged patina. The natural changes in the metal surface also offer insight into chemical reactions and the importance of storage environments in preserving coins. For new collectors or casual hobbyists, the 1969 Lincoln cent is a perfect coin to begin learning about numismatics. It is affordable, widely available, and full of educational opportunities. Collectors can compare it with other years and mint marks, examine it under magnification to identify fine details, and explore how it fits into the broader timeline of American coinage. Even the simple act of identifying its design elements and mint origin can be a gateway into deeper study of history, design, and economy. For those who collect by date and mint mark, this coin fills an essential space in any Lincoln cent collection.